Yes. 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 That is a way we try to portray in the history of mythology, because we want to make it something special. So that's why we call fly. The fly doesn't mean that you really fly. It doesn't mean that we really fly. It means that a fly means that it doesn't mean that coming. But these days when you think we have an aeroplane, we have this and that, and we imagine as a bird's fly. When one time this is a very personal story. When I was young, about the age of 25, I was appointed by the previous Sangha of Thailand, which I served as a secretary. And at that time, he was newly appointed me as his secretary. And at that time, being a young man, I learned about computer. There's just a new computer came out at that time. It's called, and it's very costly at that time. But just 16 KB, something like that, very, very costly. But I found that the computer helped in terms of my office. But I have to convince my teacher, which is Sangha, to allow me to have a computer. So one evening, I make sure that he's in a good mood and relaxed mood and say that I went there and I said, please, sir, I need some machine to add onto the office because it will help in working. And then he said, what? You already got everything. You have a fax machine, you have a photocopy, whatever you want. I said, they call computer. I want to have a computer. Can I have it? And he asked me, what is computer? He was about the age of nearly 7 at the time. And I explained so proud that I knew something which my teacher doesn't know. I explained what is computer, how it works, and so on and so on. And then I said that is a computer. There's a software, there's a hardware, there's a keyboard, there's so on. And when I said, can I have it? So he just silent. And slowly he said that you should go for meditation. I said, why? I asked the computer and he's sending me to meditation. So I shouldn't ask at all, so I'm being punished, I thought. Then slowly he's
รายละเอียดไปค่ารถตู้ทางขาไปราคาครับเมื่อนั้นเข้าใจคือจะมีใจราคามาขากลับต้องได้ใจต้องได้เอารถตู้เข้าขาไปเก็บไว้เลยแล้วเนี่ยต้องสปอร์ต
So all your item is your keyboard, your mind is your hard disk, your sanya and everything he explained. And finally the story of that ended that, and he asked me that, do you sometimes dream? I said, yes, I dream. Sometimes I dream that I can fly. Somebody is chasing me, so I fly, I run away. And he just smiled. Yes, that is what I call your language, data. Because what happens is that when you see the birds flying, airplane flying, when you are conscious, but when you are unconscious, you bring that element and you have that element, you can run around. So that is the same thing. In history, in a lot of things, when we have to make it sacred, when we have to say that, we say fly, we say that devata. You just don't have to chew anything. You just think you are already full. What is meaning by eating? Basically, eating is that you have to chew, you have to see. It's not only eating by your mouth. There's a whole process going on there. But if you don't need, why you eat? You see, it doesn't make sense. Devata doesn't have to eat. You just think and then feel. So it doesn't make sense. So that is how we operate. So in Sri Lanka, the land-wise, in old days they said that it's connected by the King Rama, Ravana at the time. There was none, and then all the monkeys, Hanuman, put all the stones and then make it connections. But that is our myth. But these days, when you look from the satellite, and we still see that there is some connection. There is that part of land is connected in one way or another. So it could be, coming, but because it's a separate, isolated from that area, that's why it is called flight. But it means that could by coming by sea or coming by by land. But land, if you ask me, my personal feeling is that by land. Yes. because the connection, because the apart from Jaffna to the Sri Lanka, how many kilometers? Very short distance. Yeah, 32 kilometers. Right? Very short distance. And then in yes, yes, Sangamita. Yeah, could be, yes. Yes, either because it was mission, there's a pictures giving and bringing the body sack. Yes. By sea. So maybe might end up by the road. But whatever it is, but for the myth, for the sacredness, we can have that idea. But for the academic level, I guess that we have to think of the reality there. And what does it mean by flying? But it doesn't make sense. You know, if you want to fly, fine. But is that the important thing? The important is that what he brought, the Dharma, is not how he brought. So that is how we have to, when we do a lot of research as academic, then you have to prioritize. And this is the local belief, and you have to find what is the connections at the time. Because even when the Mahinda was there, he was not able to go there. He was hiding somewhere in the cave, and then the king was lured by us onto hunting some deer or whatever, and then until he found the Mahinda there. So you have all those myths out there. But apart from that myth, how the story was made into life, it is interesting. For example, Veresatra, it is sometimes very, very difficult to understand why he was donating his wife, why he was donating his children. Based on the Buddhist teaching, can you do that? What is your task of being a husband, being a task of being a father and mother? No, it doesn't go against the reality. But the reality there is that to show that to keep something which is very important. But when we make it improvised, just like making a movie. You know, when you're making a movie, all the actor and actress, they make it so real and they make it more than real, so to convince us. So that is how the story portrayed. But the essence of the story is that it's about the Dharma. Whatever you give it. But to make it people understand, to make it people that very convincing, then you say that you give up your children, you give up your wife. But in reality, if you give really that, go against the teaching of the Buddha itself. But this is what we call simile. This is what we call the way of propagating. And then in your cases, you have to think of this technique as well. In some cases, you have to. Like in my case at the moment, I teach in America. I speak in United Nations. I speak in UNESCO. So I wouldn't take this magical thing and tell them. But I make it everything more than scientific. For example, as I said, Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I say Namo in Pali is a monarch, the same word. In the Pali, it means that you follow. You means that you think. You think means that you learn, you follow. You follow what? Bhagavato. Bhagavan, Bhagava. Bhagava is what? I make it very simple. Bhagava is to know that you are the symbol, the Bhaga, the Karuna. The Karuna means that you have to appreciate someone else. So you become a small part of this whole galaxy. And in order to become a small one, in order to live that, you have to be arahant, means that you don't have a kilesa. You have to reduce the kilesa.